The two things self-esteem relies upon are self-efficacy and self-worth, and today, we're taught the opposite of these two things. You can think about self-efficacy as the idea that you're capable of living on Earth, and that you're able to do what's needed to be done to live and thrive, and self-worth as the idea that you're worthy of life. It's knowing your value and the belief that you deserve happiness. But our leaders, cultural figures, educators, and in fact most everyone around us believe and teach the exact opposite. We're taught that our efforts to survive kill the planet, and that our very existence is a disease on the planet. That you didn't earn what you have in life, it's stolen from someone else or inherited from the past. Or that you got what you have only because of your race or sex, and that you don't have control over yourself or your life, but your personality and choices in life are determined by your race, sex, class, income, heritage, by some factor other than you. All of these and so much more are designed to undermine your ability to develop any sense of self-efficacy. These ideas lead us to feel inept, incapable, out of control, and ultimately hopeless. It's no wonder so many people aren't working, aren't pursuing relationships, aren't ambitious when it comes to their own lives. They've been taught that they aren't able to, or that it's evil to do so. At its root, the feeling of self-efficacy is your confidence in your ability to think, to understand the world, and to handle life. Our school systems are designed to kill that in you. They teach you to sit down, shut up, and cram for tests. A good student does what they're supposed to do, and you're punished if you do anything on your own terms. The idea of obedience is baked into the whole system. For 12 years, you're churned through this meat grinder for the brain, and it just leaves you with this feeling that knowledge has nothing to do with life, and that you can't really know anything, and that you just need to follow an authority. In other words, we're not taught to think anymore. So we end up feeling confirmed that we have no control over our lives because so many of us who ask questions only end up with, I don't know. We're being raised to be incapable of taking care of ourselves, of thinking, of being a functioning person, which is the opposite of self-efficacy. When it comes to self-worth, the idea of our worthiness to our own lives, the story is much the same. We're told that we should feel guilty and ashamed for being born in America because we stole it from the natives. We should feel ashamed for being white because of our history of slavery and conquest. We should feel ashamed about being a man because men are born rapists and naturally oppress women. We should feel ashamed for polluting the planet and for earning money and for having privilege, and so on and so forth. We're told that we shouldn't feel good about who we are, what we do, and what we have. Our very existence is constantly attacked by our cultural voices. We're taught that we should feel ashamed for being alive, and that is the opposite of self-worth. It's shame. The ideas you're taught in our culture are directly destroying your ability to have self-esteem, to function as an adult, to be happy. Self-esteem is essential to life because it's basically the fundamental belief that you're able to and deserve to live. If you believe that you're not capable of living or that you don't deserve life, you're never going to be happy. You'll spend your life justifying your existence rather than living it. There's a lot of self-help content out there that talks about how you can build self-esteem, but most neglect to mention that you have to reject the very ideas that are causing your low self-esteem to begin with. Otherwise, you're not fixing the source of your problems, you're just masking the issue. Like taking pain pills for cancer. You might feel better at first, but the problem is still there. I want to give you a challenge. Tune out from the news and social media for 1 week. The news is designed to take your focus away from the important things in your life and to get you to focus on negative things in the world that you have no control over. The effect is that you spend your time focusing and worrying about events in the world that have almost nothing to do with you and that you can't control. It's a recipe for anxiety, but most importantly, it takes your focus away from the things that matter in your life, like what you want out of it. If you're spending your time worrying about the things that you can't control, like what politicians are doing, your sense of self-efficacy will suffer because your world will seem out of your control. You'll feel powerless. Social media is much the same. It's designed to suck you in for hours and feed you trivial info. including the news. It's a distraction from what matters, like your passions, friends, and just being present. When I tuned out from the news and social media, my awareness and focus on my immediate surroundings rose considerably. Like the relationships with my actual friends, rather than my Facebook friends whom I've never met. Or discovering what I really want out of life, rather than fretting about what our politicians are doing or worrying about what our culture has descended to. Since I tuned out from those two things, I've gained a powerful perspective on what really matters in life. And that's primarily what I really want out of it. My passions, my friends and family, and the kind of atmosphere I want around me. So give yourself a challenge to cut these two things out of your life for just a week. Give it a try and see how it goes. You'll find that it reduces your anxiety, your depression, and your levels of anger at the world. And you might just find you won't miss it. Social media and the news are only two tiny parts of tuning out from the modern culture, but just that small part can make a huge difference in your overall sense of control over your life. Please give that challenge a try, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.